How many of y'all guilty of doing this right here? This is a question I need to ask you. How many of y'all guilty of posting on Instagram, dropping your podcast link in your stories, right? Maybe you throw it in the bio, but then guess what? There's nothing but crickets. How many of y'all guilty of that? Like, your content is fire. I mean, on top of the world, it's the top notch. It's the best that it can be, right? You're dropping gems, but nobody seems to be hitting play. Well, let me tell you something. Here's what's really happening. You're trying to serve everyone, which makes you invisible to your ideal client or clients. You're out here being everybody's homie, but nobody's hero. See, I'm about to show you exactly how to flip the script on that, because you have to be able to be the hero and not the sidekick. You got to be able to be the hero. You got to be able to be Batman and not Robin. You got to learn how to turn your Instagram into a podcast listeners machine. Let's get it.
Hey, solopreneurs. Are you ready to turn your one-person business into a thriving empire? Welcome to the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast with Anthony Porter. Each week, we're bringing you practical tips, real-life stories, and step-by-step frameworks to grow your income, build your brand, and find balance in your business. New episodes drop every Monday at 6 a.m. The perfect way to start your week strong. If you love what you hear, make sure to subscribe, share the podcast with your network, and leave us a review. Your support helps us reach more solopreneurs just like you. Let's grow together. I'll see you on the next episode.
Hey, yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast. You know who it is. It's your boy. I'm your host, Mr. Anthony Porter. And if you're new here, this is where we talk real talk. This is where we get the real game for solopreneurs, the side hustlers, the self-starters. These are the people who are done playing small, all right? This is who this is for, and ready to turn their expertise into income and influence. Now, today we're going to dive deep into something that I have seemed to have come across every single day for about the last year and a half. And I'm seeing that we have talented creators with incredible podcasts. Listen, I'm not going to stand here and say that I'm Superman, because I'm not. But we have talented creators who have very good podcast shows that nobody knows about because it's fourth and inches. And shout out to Cam Newton, because that right there is the perfect analogy for what I'm about to say. It's fourth and inches, and y'all keep fumbling the Instagram bag. Listen, I'm not coming at you sideways. I'm not doing that. I've been there. I am one of those who fumbled the bag. All right? I remember posting episode after episode after episode and thinking, man, it's about to blow up, like Martin would say. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was thinking. But I was only getting like 12 plays. And then 6 of them, a couple was mama, friends, co-workers, loved ones, wife, all of the above. I've been there with you. Trust me, I'm definitely not coming sideways at you. But here's what changed everything for me. See, I stopped trying to please everyone and started getting crystal clear on who I was actually talking to. And when I made that shift, when I took his flip, that game changer, and put those wheels in motion, my Instagram went from the graveyard to a lead magnet machine. Now, I know you see people talking about they killing it on Instagram, and you can kill it on Instagram. Instagram is just not about photos no more. You can kill it on Instagram. Don't let people tell you what you can and can't do. You can kill it on Instagram. You just have to be given the roadmap, shown the way. See, when you start getting these lead generation machines going, we're talking hundreds, if not thousands of new listeners every single week. Your DMs is popping off, and people are starting to binge listening your entire catalog from back in the day. If you feel like your content is like, for the young folk, an NBA Youngboy album, for the old heads, a diamond-crusted platinum selling Nelly or Eminem or Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre or Biggie, a Wyclef production, a Tribe Called Quest, a Janet Jackson, a Rihanna, a Taylor Swift, a Garth Brooks. If you feel like your content is that fire and your numbers don't match the value, stay locked in, because we about to fix that right here, right now, today. So when we start talking about this, we got to talk about this. We talk about this in like so many different parts. And I want to say I put together 5. Yeah, I think I got 5 parts that I need to get at you with, because this is something that's very important. We do not want to leave money on the table when it comes to Instagram. So we don't want to leave money on the table when it comes to any social media platform. It doesn't make a difference if it's Instagram. It doesn't make a difference if it's Facebook, LinkedIn. We don't want to leave that bread on the table. So here's the game plan. We're going to focus on Instagram because Instagram is what I know. Now, you don't have to focus on Instagram. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm going to give you the value, but this is not the platform that you need to choose. Any platform, you can take what I'm about to say and apply it to it. Now, you might have to tweak it when it comes to when it comes to LinkedIn, but any one of these platforms, you can take what I'm about to say and use it on that platform, right? So let's jump into part number 1. You have a real problem. You're speaking to everyone and you're connecting with no one. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. You're speaking to everyone, but you're connecting to no one. Now, I know you're like, what are you talking about? Let me start with this right here. The hard truth is most people don't want to hear it. Your Instagram is driving podcast listeners. Is it driving podcast listeners? My bad. Your Instagram is not doing your podcast listeners no justice because you haven't decided who the hell you talking to. You posted pictures on vacation. You over here at the casino. You chilling down in Hawaii. You over here at when are you going to talk to your people about your podcast? That's the major question, right? They don't know who you talking to. We don't know who you are for. Think about it. You scroll to Instagram, you see coaches talking about helping people live their best life. Okay, cool. But who? Who are you talking about? People with jobs? People without jobs? People with 3 jobs trying to quit 2? You see where I'm going with this? Who are you talking to? When you try to speak to everyone, your message gets diluted. It's like trying to sell water to people in the ocean. And guess what? They surrounded by water. So why would you choose yours? Why would you choose your situation to try to sell people water who's surrounded by water? And then on top of that, the burning question is, why would they buy it from you? You cannot sit there and literally try to sell water to people surrounded by the ocean. Let me give you a real life example. I used to post stuff like this. New podcast episode out. We're talking about the mindset today. And yeah, that's fine. That was fine, right? But it's also forgettable. It's not something that makes you want to stop and be like, damn, they talking to me. I need to hear that right now. It doesn't make you feel that way. But here's what I did. I started posting. Yo, solopreneurs, if you are making $3K a month or working 60 hours a week, this episode breaks down how to 3X. All right, 3X your income by working less. Now we talking. Somebody scrolling through and was like, hold up, that's me. Let's rock. Let me hear what he's talking about. Now I'm speaking directly to the people in the back. It's reality. Now they clicking on the link because they want to know exactly how they can work less and make more. That's the American dream. Now here's the shift. Man, stop trying to be relatable to everyone. Start being irresistible to someone specific. All right. Your ideal listener has a specific problem, a specific dream, a specific language that they use to describe their struggle. When you speak that language, they feel you sooner than later. And when people feel you sooner than later, they buckle up, they lean in, and they're ready to tap into whatever you are talking about. Now, before we go any further, be sure to subscribe to the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast. If it's your first time here, please subscribe, download the episodes. Follow us on Instagram at I am Anthony Porter and the Solopreneur Chronicles PC. These are the Instagram handles. All right. So let's continue. Part number 2 is very, 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 very significant. If you've never read Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets book, this right here, in my words, is a chapter taken from the Expert Secrets Manifest. See, Instagram, the podcast bridge, your content needs to create tension. You have to give them value. You have to give them something that will make them say, So how do you get them to actually leave Instagram and go listen to your podcast? Because let's be real, most of us are lazy. People are lazy. I know I am. Once I start listening to the podcast, I ain't trying to leave unless I truly have to. All right. They'll double tap your post. They'll drop a fire emoji. They'll do all of the good stuff. They'll keep scrolling without even hitting play. So you got to give them a reason to take that extra step. And that reason is attention. Now, here's what's meant by attention, especially when we're dealing with Instagram. Instagram content can't give away the whole form. It needs to be a teaser to transformation. Highlight a problem, create curiosity about the solution. You're not withholding value, not at all. You're creating the bridge. It's like traveling from Detroit to Windsor. That's a bridge. It's like traveling from Louisville. I try to be proper with that too. It's like traveling from Louisville to Indiana, Kentucky to Indiana. You're crossing a bridge. So you got to create that bridge in order for them to say, hold up, now I'm curious to what they talking about. So step number one, you got to hook them. And when you hook them, they has to be hooked with a relatable pain point. Has to be a relatable pain point, man. Some people will post a reel or a carousel that calls out a specific struggle. And that struggle is like you're posting every day, but your engagement is trash. Here's why. Boom. If that's reality, you're locked in. Because somebody just told you that everything you posting is trash. Now you want to see why you are not getting the engagement that you truly want. You understand me? Understand? Cool. Step number two is you got to drop one piece of value. You see, when I started realizing this, I was locked in on a gentleman named Dane Cole. Dane Cole information on YouTube is so powerful. Like I be sitting there just looking at it like, at first, when I first came across it, I was like, shit's boring. But then I looked at the titles. Then I listened to the message. He was dropping value, or he was dropping some value. And then I realized the algorithm doesn't reward consistency. It rewards reasoning. See, you can post once a week and blow it up if you're speaking to the right people. So if you're speaking to the right people, then you create the gap. And that's step number 3 in this process, creating the gap. This is the right move right here. And I'll say something like, but here's the thing most people miss. And if that's the reason your content isn't converting, I break down the full framework in today's podcast episode and drop the link in the bio. You see what happened? I gave you value, but I also showed them there's deeper layers that they're missing. I created tension between where they are and where they want to be. And then the podcast is the bridge. So you got to think, if you're a coach or a consultant and you have a podcast and you have clients that are having lead generation issues and you're trying to get them into your program, tell them why the lead generation isn't working and then bridge them to come to work with you in your platform. See, we do that in the Next Level CEO system. All right. We bridge the gap. We bridge the gap from you being just a podcaster to a CEO of a thriving 7-figure business using podcasts. So that's how you gotta bridge the gap. All right. You gave them the value, the deeper layers, and the tension from where they are to where they want to be. So when you start to see that, you got to get into part 3. And part 3 is repurposing like a savage. One episode, so many different pieces, 20 pieces, 30 pieces, 40 pieces of content spread across so many different platforms. Now, I know we focused on Instagram, right? But you got one podcast episode. Say your podcast episode is about 25, 30 minutes long. I use Riverside.fm. It has the capabilities of breaking down, giving me all of my content before I even come out of there. When I edit, it does everything. I edit. It gives me magic clips. It gives me shorter clips that I can post to help build my engagement on YouTube, as well as Instagram shorts, TikTok shorts. Instagram reels and TikTok shorts, Facebook reels and YouTube shorts. But see, most people drop the ball here. They record the episode, post it once and move on. No, you can't do that. See, I also use another software called Opus Clip. Opus Clip takes and chops them up, gives me my context, it gives me my captions, it gives me everything that I need. It gives me the captions in the bio, man, it gives me every single piece of information that I need. I'm able to schedule out my posts. So it might take me an hour to go through. I think the last time I done it, my content was like 35 minutes. It gave me like 25 short clips. Went through in an hour. I still got clips that's still going to be uploaded when the next episode drops. But that's the way you want it to be. So you want every episode to create content, a content gold mine. You want to have a content vault. You want to have what I call a content system. You got to be able to mine it. You got to be able to say, listen, it's easy for you to do it, schedule it, and walk away from it and let it do its own thing. One 30-minute episode can create 5 to 7 Instagram reels, 3 to 5 carousel posts, 10 short stories, 1 long YouTube video, and a blog post. And let's not forget an email to your list and multiple tweets and threads for bite-sized information that you can have. It's the hamster wheel that you don't need to create content every day. You just need one piece of deep, valuable content. All right? Deep, valuable content and a system to slice it up. But here's the kicker. Every piece of repurposed content is a doorway back to your podcast. You're just not promoting the episode. You're extending the reach for people to come in. And once you open that door, get them in, subscribe, you got them locked down. All right? So you just want to make sure that that's how you rocking with it. And so once you figure that out, you got to think about this. Part 4 is Instagram strategy that actually converts. Here's a strategy that I used when I first started. Monday was drop a reel with a controversy or curiosity-driven hook. Something like most solopreneurs are one funnel away from 6 figures. You know what that's doing? That right there is building for the wrong one. You got to understand. You want to make this. Listen, they want to know what they want to be able to say, oh, hold up, man, what is he talking about? I got to figure that out. I need to check that out. All right, so then you go to Tuesday and Wednesday. We post carousel breakdowns. Give them the framework of the steps. Believe the how for the podcast. Example, 3-step system to turn your Instagram followers into podcast listeners with a call to action to listen to the full breakdown in the episode. Then you got Thursday, stories all day, post clips all day from the episode, ask questions, run polls. Which topic should I cover next? You understand what I'm saying? You got to be able to have all of that. Which topic should I cover next? This creates engagement and reminds people your episodes exist. Then you got Friday, you got testimonial and case studies. This is where you show proof of your stuff. Here's how such use this strategy to go from 50 downloads to 500 in 30 days. And then Saturday and Sunday is engagement content. Yeah, engagement content. Yeah, engagement content. I know some of y'all who are watching the video wonder what I'm doing. So I'm looking at the screens and people are commenting because I'm actually trying to I'm testing out the live stream for this particular episode. So the key is consistency and variety, okay? We're just not posting the same new episode graphic every week. You're building a content ecosystem. That's what you got to do. So, but you want everything to point back to the podcast. And then last but not least, that nobody talks about is you need a lead magnet. I just completed a brand new one that is going up in the next couple of weeks. And it's a mic drop moment. If you're just telling people to go listen to the podcast, you're missing out on a massive opportunity. And I realized that. So they consume my content. I warm them up from the cold traffic, but yet I have not got them to the monetization point. Instead of just saying, check out the podcast, hey, I have a full framework I use with my clients to turn Instagram followers into paid customers. Grab the free trainer. So the domain/trainer, put it down in there. They click on that link, and there you have it. You have now created enough information, a system, a framework to help you take Instagram, put it in the left pocket while your podcast is smack dead in the center and you're getting ready to put something in that right pocket. All right. This is how you attract income, man. You can't just sit on your morals. Your podcast, if they ain't listening by now, they're not going to listen. You got to figure out how to get them to listen. All right. So let's go. Let me bring this thing full circle for you. And see, this is exactly what happens with this side of the ecosystem. You've got content, you got expertise, you got a podcast. What you've been missing is the strategy to connect all 3 of the dots, to take someone from random scroller on IG to loyal listener to eventually being a paying client. That's the game plan. Because here's the reality. And this is the reality that nobody wants to really teach you. They want to pay for you. They want you to pay for this particular information. It's powerful enough for you to understand, but it's the surface level. There's a deeper playbook. There's exact framework, scripts, and systems that I use that I learned from people like David Sands and Pat Flynn's and Amy Porterfield to build my audience that actually convert. We're talking about structured, your content calendar, how to write hooks that stop people from scrolling, how to optimize your podcast for growth, how to build an automation funnel that turns listeners into leads, all of that. That's what we do. Now, this is what I need you to do right now. Head on over to your favorite streaming platform. Follow us and be ready for the Get the Solopreneur Playbook. All right. It's free training. We just want to give it to you. It's valued at about $199, but it's free. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Don't forget to share the podcast. Leave us a review. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you dislike. All right, but just be respectful. Now, if today's episode was value, I appreciate that, man. Come back, tap in, subscribe. I'll read every single message because I love connecting with every single one of the people that will send me messages, all right? And that's it for today. Remember, you're not trying to serve everyone. You're trying to serve one specific person because you are that person's hero. And when you get a clear picture of that, everything changes. I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Stay dangerous. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Solopreneurs Chronicles podcast. I hope today's episode gave you the insights and inspiration you need to take the next step in your business journey. If you enjoyed the show, do me a favor, subscribe, leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and share this episode with a fellow solopreneur. Your feedback means the world to me and helps us reach more people just like you. Let's thank our producers of the show, Sincere and Charlie Straughter, Rhea Cash and Theory Porter. So don't forget, for more tips, tools, and resources, subscribe to the show. So just keep building, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.